Everyone, this is Whitney with my week 5 video discussion post talking about progressivism and some political stuff and just kind of comparing and contrasting this era to our modern world. When I think of progressivism, I and like what's still around today, honestly, it's everywhere if you're looking for it. A lot of the way our government works now really took shape during that time. Politically, one of the biggest things I think of when I'm thinking of what's still around today is the idea that the government should be stepping in and regulating big business, not allowing monopolies, and really protecting everyday people from corporations. In chapter 21, they talk about the trust busting under Theodore Roosevelt and the push to break monopolies. Today, we still see debates about regulating corporations, um, and banks and um, all that kind of stuff. That idea that the government should protect the public really started during the progressive era. Uh, we also still use a lot of political reforms, like the way that we vote in senators or elect senators. That started from this era, and that's how we still operate today. Socially, I think that this time really pushed reforms like laws around workplace and food safety, and a lot of the themes I feel like are just to protect everyday people. Um, but um, it gave just a lot of regulations around the what we are allowed how we are allowed to be treated and how they are allowed to kind of treat our bodies, like the Pure Food and Drug Act. And then that's also when all the labor reforms happen, so like child labor, um and the 8-hour workday, factories being safer, and just protecting our workers and our consumers from kind of the greedy corporations who were just in it for the money. Then in chapter 22, during World War One, or the Great War, we see the federal government expand more, really grow, and the government controlled like different parts of the economy, and they managed railroads and regulated a lot more things like production. Um, that that really like normalized the idea that in a crisis, the government will take charge. They'll be the big boss. They'll tell us what to do. They'll make sure everything's still running. Um, and we still see that today during wars or national emergencies. But then it also brought to mind all the government shutdown, and I'm like, what happens when it's the other direction where they're not functioning right? Um, and in chapter 23, it shows how some of the reforms, like prohibition, that came directly from progressive um, reform movements. And even though prohibition obviously failed, um, it it like really shaped a lot of movements that were um, like shaping national laws, if that makes any sense. And I think all the I keep thinking of how many times I've said in all these videos. I think the ideas have really been what stayed around. Obviously, things look so differently now, but because they changed the government really down to its structure, um, darn it. Like once you create federally regulated agencies, or I mean amend the Constitution, which happened as well. Those things don't just disappear. They become part of how the entire system works, how the entire government, how the entire country works. And a lot of the progressive reforms were responses to real problems. So, those are things that when those problems pop up nowadays, we already have these ideas in place that helped us before and they help us again. So, unsafe food, you call in the health department. Child labor, I don't even know who you call for that. You just know it's not okay. Political corruption, like all of these things have already gone through the process and I've kind of figured out how to be handled thanks to this period of time. And that's all. Thank you guys.